Good morning, YouTube. Thank you once again for tuning in. I am Dkhairho, and you are now watching the Morning Coffee. So in 90s style hip hop, there's like this secret rule on how a song should be laid out. You got to have an intro sometimes. You most importantly have to have a chorus part. Then you got to have a verse part. And even sometimes people like to throw in a breakdown. Well, what about those times when the beat is just so dope and you can't really think of any change ups? What do you do then? So I had this pretty basic track that I'm working on, a sample part, and then some drums with the kick, the snare, and the hi-hats. But I'm trying to think to myself, like, what do I need to do to make this beat kind of transition along the way? And I really can't think of much. I know that after I get everything laid out as far as chorus, hook parts, if I choose to go that route, there's probably going to be some ambient sounds that I like to add. But you guys know that I don't really finish my tracks, and I said it before, because I try to think as a rapper when I'm doing these and kind of singing bars over them. And then sometimes other rappers can become the instrument in the song. But let's check this track out and let's see what we should do. So pretty tight and simple, right? Does it really need more? Or should I put more just because I think that people are telling me that more needs to be done to it? But how do I feel? What do I want to do? To be honest, I'm pretty happy with this beat. I don't want to do too much to take away from the ride that the beat is on. Of course, I may add, let's say, some string sounds maybe, or some other type of ambient stuff. But for right now, I like it because it's making me think in my head of some bars that I want to say. The only thing that I will say that I probably do is the muffle. The muffle with the low pass filter, where you kind of make the beat sink into the track, where all the ambient sounds that are on the original sample, you kind of compress them out, or you kind of put mud on them so you can't really hear them. And it gives the transitional parts of the song some life, meaning that you could tell when a chorus or a verse part is going on in the song. And let me walk you through the process of what I do, simple, to get this done. So as we look at the current layout, I have two samples that are identical, which is this and this. Now this is the mud effect that I like, and it just has a low pass filter on it. And let's look at the sample. So that's my sample part for that one, and you can see that is exactly the same here. So again, there and there, no change, because all I did was went in and duplicated the sample, right? So let's go back to this one here. What did I do? We go into pitch. See that the pitch is pretty much the same, just tuned down a little bit. You go into the effects section, and as you see, we have different selections for how we want the sample to sound. So let's go through each one so I can show you how I use them. So of course, this is without it. That's the low pass filter, which is the one we're going to be using. That's another there. I don't know what BP2 is, man. I don't know. I ain't even gonna lie to you. But this is high pass filter. Somebody tell me what it is, because I know you guys will have the answer. And of course, this is EQ. I can look it up in Google, but I don't even want to sound like I know everything when I be making stuff, man. Because sometimes, you know how you just have the skill set to do it, but you don't really have the skill set to explain it like a professor. That'll be me. All right, so let's go back up to the low pass filter here. And so on that low pass filter, I did do some adjustment with the cutoff to kind of make it a little darker and to give me this sound. Now, let me tell you this. I am going to go back once I get this beat formatted and done. I'm going to go back through it and kind of do some more editing and manipulation with this sample to kind of make it sound a little bit sharper. I don't want to make the video long, of course, and like this video is not let's say process video of this is how I start a beat and finish a beat. This is just an idea type of video. So if we go back and listen to the track, you'll see that I have it set up, I guess you could say kind of crazy in the concept of why do I have both of them playing on top of each other? But the reason that I do that is kind of to make the main sample sound a little bit thicker and solid as it's playing in the beat, and also I do it in an effort to give the beat a heavier bass line. One other thing that I also do, and I'm probably gonna do it to the main sample, is thin that one out a little bit, and then which is what I'll do with the high pass filter, and then I'll do another one where it's kind of mid range. So I'll have a high range, a mid range, and a low range. And the reason that I do that is because you'll kind of see things change up in the drop as far as how solid they are as the track plays on. So let's listen and I'll let you hear what I'm doing. So that's with both of them together. And then it kind of thins out a little bit, but not enough where you would really notice it when the drums are playing on it. But I like to use a thinner one, let's say when I drop the drums, right? And then let's look at a verse part. So that gives us a bass part, a verse part. But as you listen to it's almost just like a bass line. So in order to give the verse part some life, I would have to, like I said, have a thinner one real low on top of it. And when I say low, I mean volume wise. And then that'll give me a dope transition, and it'll also make it solid when it runs back into this. See, like the transitions, they're not tight enough. So like I said, I use that mid-range one to kind of give it something a little more structured when it's changing up. So what I did was went ahead and duplicated the action on pad 1 over to pad 3. Now what pad 3 is going to be used for is, like I said, that mid-range sound that I'm going to kind of lower just to lay on top of the bass. So let's check this BP2 out, whatever that is. Somebody tell me, please. So you see it's kind of thin. It's not as sharp as, let's say, the high pitch. See, the high pitch is a little bit sharper. So let's go back to the BP2. Somebody get to me on that, because I know y'all got the answer on it. But listen when you play them together. See, give it a little life, right? And then if you go by yourself with the mid, it's too muddy. And then if you go BP2, somebody tell me what it is. That's not enough for that verse part, but playing them together, see what we got there? So let's play around with this and see what we come up with as far as how the sounds are. Again, the beat is not finished, but I just want to play it so we could kind of mute out stuff and see what the transitions and the change ups will be. Another thing, don't hold me to that BP2 thing, because I could have easily went on Google and tried to sound like Einstein with it. But normally what I do, especially when I EQ on other drum machines that I've worked on, I know about the low pass and I know about the high pass, and then I call the one in between the mid pass. So maybe BP2 is something like that. I don't know, but I would like to know the name, and probably after this video I'll go and Google it. It's not necessary because the beat just got to get done, right? So check it out. So let's play around. So this is with everything playing, and you see it's kind of heavy. I mean, it's kind of thicker. But let's start muting out some stuff. So it's cool, but like I said, it still needs some more EQ into it. But like I said, don't want the video to be too long. Then when it loops back around, you'll see how that BP2 is playing by itself. Then let's bring the bottom end in. So see, it's dope. Like the transition parts are dope, but of course, like I said, I'm gonna have to play around with it, put the effects on it. put some more manipulation to it so it'll sound perfect when I finalize the beat. But like I said, just have some coffee with me right now. This is just something that's quick, kind of to the point of what I was trying to show, which is just if you don't want to do too much modification to the beat when you're trying to do change up parts, throw some mud on it and kind of simplify the process, because especially if you're a rapper like me, you don't need too many instruments to get the lyrical flow on path to where you're trying to go in the song. Now that was some good coffee. Like to thank y'all for tuning in. Once again, I am Dkhairho. Plug in, get connected. We are TMR.
Dkhairho did this.